Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Slime, Season 4.
Yep, Slime, Season 4, Episode 6. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. We're back from our Anime Night in the Dojo, and well, we ended the last episode with a supreme table flip. I am always a very big proponent of table flipping. No matter what it is. Whether it is, well, to be honest, most of the time it was just getting a wonder stolen from me in Civ 5.
Yeah. Getting the freaking pyramid stolen from me for the dozenth time in a row.
Yep. That's where it was. One of our buddies, Elk, he'd always have the good sound effect. I don't know how he did it, but he'd always do it in real time with his desk, and it sounded like he was actually flipping his desk when he did.
Assuming he still had the same desk set up from when I was living with him, which wasn't that big of a time gap back when we were playing Civ 5 from, when I moved out. I can see it. He had a pretty big desk set up that he could have very easily just rattled part of it on.
Yeah, but Civ 5 aside, regardless, I'm a proponent of table flipping when it's warranted. In that situation, it probably warrants it, so it will be interesting to see what it is. It's probably restrictions on monsters in some way, shape, or form that is stupid to do in real negotiation, but since this is a farce of a negotiation that we mentioned last time, we'll see how Maribel works her way into the situation. It should be fun, and she's way more interesting than the annoying nobles. You know what I mean? So, can we get her on screen and not jackass number 3 trying to get the Magitrain to his country first? Because I just want to slap him.
I still don't know what her actual play is here. We just know that this whole thing is a farce for her to. It's a farce that she's using to freaking test Rimuru as well as get her foot in the door with Rimuru.
Yeah. So, yeah. All that stuff being said, we've already talked out most of this stuff, so we're just going to go ahead and get going here and push some buttons before I completely lose my voice. So, people on Patreon, we'll see you on the other side of the edit for the timer reaction, and people on YouTube Beyond, we'll see you on the other side for the discussion and review, and all the links are down there in the description to check out Patreon for the timer stuff. Check out Twitch. Going to start streaming here again. Stuff and whatnot. Come talk to us there if you want. Check out the intro video. It explains everything that you probably need to know about us. So, yeah, if you got 6 minutes, there's a TLDR at the beginning of that video, and if you got about an hour, we go into pretty much everything. So, well, whatever you choose. I split that video right there at the 6 minute mark of, here's a short version, and then we go into the long version. So that link will always be in the description down there and at the end of the video and the cards and stuff. So I always point to that and say, hey, go watch the intro video if you have any questions. So anyway, let's push some buttons and get going. So here goes something. Well, alrighty then, there you guys have it. I mentioned the whole 3/5 of a person thing last time. That's exactly what it was.
It wasn't necessarily making monsters in particular give up rights and become slaves, but it was basically making freaking Tempest into an indoctrinated vassal state.
Yeah, it's just you're gonna do everything for us for free and also pay us a yearly thing. It's just no.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily a vassal state. It's more like a full-on tributary.
Yeah. So that's it's no, that's not what we meant. It's but it's this right here. This is exactly what this means. You can call it whatever you want. All these things are everything a slave would do. You know what I mean? Just a full-on, forced vassal treaty state. So, no. Any leader would have looked at that and would have been you're out of your mind, especially one in a position of power. It's one thing if that was part of a you've been defeated kind of treaty. This is supposed to be, peaceful negotiation to join a council.
Yeah, this is supposed to be an alliance negotiation, not a freaking surrender negotiation.
Yeah. So that was definitely something. The table flip was absolutely warranted. Whether or not the mental interference that was pointed out by Raphael was Maribel, up for debate. Rimuru pointed
I
out
mean-
the fact that, you know, it can't be Yuki. It could be him, especially if he has a greed factor and he's messing with Maribel somehow. You know what I mean? Could be him.
I mean, we know Maribel does have influence over everyone here. To some extent, or another, she's said so. But it is debatable whether or not that's what Rimuru dispelled here, especially because most of the major nations didn't react to him dispelling it,
Yeah.
and we know she still has control over them too.
Yeah. So either way, the whole situation was very politicky. You had the prince coming in with his entourage of goons, which it seems like Green Fury was not really, keen on this whole situation. Like, hey, you asked me to escort you here. You didn't say anything about attacking the Demon Lord. I've been to his dungeon. I got slimed on. I'm not doing this.
They are also the mercenaries, so like you said, the rules of our contract, the stipulations of our contract was just that we had to take you here, not that we had to fight the Demon Lord.
Yeah, it's like, are you out of your mind? You're not getting me with playful wording. This says right here, escort you to the council chamber. Not, and then follow up, fight whatever's in that chamber. So we are opting out. Get bent, nerd.
He probably wouldn't have been able to get them to accept fighting Rimuru, or wouldn't have been able to afford getting him to fight Rimuru.
Yeah, it's like, you want us to fight a demon lord. Well, I think we're going to need your entire country's treasury in advance. To even consider it.
On the Green Fury note, though, the leader guy, who's got the mask, he's definitely up there, because not only is he smart enough to know about fighting Rimuru, but he's one of only 3 people in the room who actually notices the bullet. It's Rimuru, Hinata, and him.
Yeah. So, just saying, he's definitely something to keep an eye on. As for the rest of them, not so much. We got the rest of this sequence, which what do we say about Rule 1 in Tempest? Or anywhere where Rimuru is present. Don't piss off Shuna. Because, well, then you're going to get this situation, which I mentioned at the end of the reaction there is, I can hear the people complaining. It's like, oh, she's a holy caster. What is she doing knowing hand-to-hand? It's like, she used the princess of her people. What does the princess of any nation usually do? She gets schooled in literally everything. Hand-to-hand combat included. You know what I mean?
Especially, once again,
especially
they're
a race
ogres.
of the ogres, where they're a very, martial people. They fight a lot. You know what I mean? So
they're a warrior culture, so everyone learns some level of combat.
Yeah. So they're like Klingons. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy to me and I know that a lot of people are probably complaining about this. Is like, well, not only did she grow up with Hakuro, but need we remind everybody that Hakuro's own daughter knows Hei's style? Saying. She also uses fans. It's not all the realm of possibility. So it's it was definitely one hell of a sequence. Hinata was far more direct with it, but I think Shuna made her point in a grander fashion, because she just used disintegration in a room full of humans. Now, need I remind you that disintegration can only be used by people who vehemently believe in a god.
Yeah, that was the 2 biggest things here was not even necessarily just her, beating him hand to hand while he was armed, but really it's just that, yeah, she shows ridiculous level of control by only disintegrating his armor, and shows the fact that she's capable of using high-level holy magic as a monster.
Yeah. So, it's definitely one hell of a statement, even if she plays it off as, oh, I shouldn't mess around with spells that I barely know. Yeah, right. Okay. So that's that is what it is. I mean, her holy miracle against Adelman could argue considered a stronger spell than disintegration, based on various factors and how it's used.
Yeah, I mean that's basically full on space laser. This was just more she was using something that she knew she could do non-lethally, and that she knew would be a major spectacle to the humans because disintegrate is a widely known spell.
Right. Hell, even what's his name? The what was he, like the cardinal that like is obsessed with, or not maybe obsessed with her, but like cares about her. Like he had to use like a amulet that was like a single use item disintegration. Like you couldn't even cast it. So yeah, this was one hell of a way to make a statement. So that was quite impressive, that whole sequence. But once again, Hinata was slightly more direct. She just kind of like threw that guy and he immediately gave up. It's like, you know, once again, all these random people that just like lack actual concrete information. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, the knight captain of Lubelios and all this stuff, and once again, they don't know that Luminous is their actual god, that kind of thing. But you know, you're not. They know that she's an otherworlder. You know what I mean? Most people know that she's an otherworlder. So
yeah, but we do also know that there is discrimination against the otherworlders as a widely like accepted thing. Like most people have a skewed view predominantly by summons, which aren't that strong, and because like summons they're looked down on and they're considered to be basically illegal, like war crime level weapons.
right.
And that's just disposable. Like you summon them and then you throw them away because they'll have a limited life expectancy anyway.
Yep. And yet everybody knew Shizu as the Conqueror of Flames and what she was capable of, and still managed just to write people off. Maybe they see her as the exception, not the rule, but still.
Yeah, Shizu was generally considered to be an exception because, like, she had a magnetic personality and was known to be very strong for a summon.
Yeah. But either way, this whole sequence was interesting. It was interesting to see how I don't remember her name. It's like Rita or something. She's the rook that, you know, apparently has the spatial attribute because she's able to teleport her bullets very close to their target at the very least. That might be a limitation, as she can get the bullet pretty close to the target, but not maybe like insert it directly into their head kind of situation.
Yeah, I assume it's something to do with like she has to be able to see the target. So like she can't just, you know, teleport the bullet into the person because she can't see inside the person.
Right. But at the end of the day, when she was confronted by Soe there, she did say that she feels the presence of the prince still in there. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, if you just take a look at this room, there wasn't really any windows. You know what I mean? This looks like a grand hall, and there's no, like, lines of sight.
We got a line of sight. We got a line of sight when Rumor first like senses the bullet. It zooms out to show where like her line of sight is on him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was like right here. He just kind of like pans out to her and she's there. As you guys could see right there, the leader Green Fury was one of the people that noticed. But yeah.
Yeah, Ver reacts to the bullet along with Hinata and Rimuru.
Yep.
Though Rimuru's the only one who's able to actually do anything about it in such a short period of time, but all three of them actually notice it.
Yeah. So it's a kind of spatial movement, and, you know, once again, yes, it's a handgun, but I mean, if you fire the bullet and then teleport it to where it's going, it doesn't lose any velocity or momentum, so you don't need a high-powered rifle for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going like 20 feet. at most. You know what I mean? So that was a
Yeah, which explains the whole thing of how she was able to bypass Shuna's barrier. She just is outside the barrier and just fires it and teleports it
right, and
into the barrier.
in the spatial movement part of the spell isn't really hostile. You know what I mean? It could just be seen as movement. You know what I mean? So the bullet is kind of like coming through. So the hostile intent is already not there. Just happens to come
The
through.
the hostile intent is outside the barrier where she's firing from.
So yeah, pretty interesting sequence for that right there. And we ended with the King of Ingracia with his very fine mustache. I believe Gentle Criminal and this guy would get along great. But the classic ruler mustache. But either way, he had that one council member taken away to, well, some bad things are probably going to happen to him behind that very classic torture chamber door.
Yeah, which this is actually a big part of why I don't think this went to Maribel's plan. Because, like, we get told earlier on that by the one council guy here who's been talking with Maribel frequently, he's talking about how, like, basically that they're kind of losing control over Ingracia, that the new king is, like, instituting these Inquisitor guards and stuff like that and doing his own thing. So, like, I imagine most of this was within her scope of plans and expectancy. And that, like, what Runaroot dispelled wasn't necessarily her control, it was some lesser control that was being instituted over the people.
Yeah.
Because the major players didn't react at all to it, and we know they're also under her control.
Yeah.
Plus, like Runaroot mentions, like, Yuki's smart enough not to do something that I could detect. And I imagine Maribel also, like, her power probably wouldn't be so easily detected.
Yeah.
But the main thing, I think, is she wasn't expecting the prince not to get assassinated.
Right.
And she wasn't expecting the king to come involved.
Yeah, because that was kind of like the biggest part of the play was, you know, if the prince just gets assassinated out of nowhere, nobody knows what a bullet is. They're probably not going to look for that. You know what I mean? And they would probably just look at it as the prince was assassinated mysteriously. Who could have pulled that off in that room? The easiest. Even Lord Rimuru. You know what I mean? So that was the elaborate frame job. Which, it was kind of funny where the, like, foreman guy was like, what, a little thing like this could kill somebody? It's like, I mean, if you throw a rock hard enough and hit somebody in the head, it's going to kill them. You know what I mean? So, you know, once again, we can go back to the bullet tech, the gun tech, and, you know, point out that, yeah, they're not there technologically. You know what I mean? Their projectile weapons are still, you know, I don't think we've seen anything beyond a bow. You know what I mean? So
yeah, we haven't even seen, like, crossbows or anything like that. Their technology has rapidly evolved with the advent of Tempest. But Tempest's technology is all focused mostly on industrial and peaceful applications, so weapons haven't really caught up.
yeah, but
They're totally capable of developing guns and stuff at this point, but once again, weapons are on the catch-up.
yeah. So wouldn't want to be that guy. Wouldn't want his haircut either. And well, now she kind of has a bigger problem than Diablo not caring that she's running away. Because that's the last time we saw her, was running away from Diablo.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, so I couldn't catch her last time because he didn't know what the hell he was dealing with. But this time, Recruiters told him what he's dealing with, so he knew what to look for.
Yep. So this should be a pretty interesting encounter, especially if he's able to capture her. Because, hi, Hinata knows who she is. Like, Soe could just outright report who he saw, and then through their mental connection, Rimuru could be like, "This is who we saw. Do you know who this is? This looks like somebody of your order," and she would recognize her. I mean, so
Yeah, he didn't know who Rita is, and if they do capture her, she knows Maribel Rosa, she was summoned by the grandpa.
yeah. Which I have to fact check her name. I'm pretty sure it's Rita, but I'm not sure.
Rita sounds right, but
Yeah, it sounds right, but we'll have that fact checked after the. Or we could just check her right now. I know she's one of the 3 Rooks. She's a summon, obviously summoned by the Roadsos. We saw that, and she is the firearm person. Obvious reason. Even a handgun is a big deal in this world. But Rita does sound correct. It's kind of what I remember from the Isekai Memories. I could be wrong, because I know Ritus was the water knight. She was the one that he was using like the water magic and could heal. Was like the healer of Hinata's party when they came to Tempest. And she, she's the one that also developed the crush on Zoe. So.
Nothing pops up to me on this. That's probably wrong.
Well, we'll just have that fact checked next time then. So that's all I've really got for this one. It'll be interesting to see how this encounter plays out. But we all know that Soe is incredibly capable, and once again, they've all leveled up again. So while she is Glenda, yeah, Glenda, that's what it was. I knew it was something kind of potentially more out there as well, but yeah. So you guys have it. This should be interesting at the very least. So, you got anything else for this one, Age?
Her captured the most likely thing to actually figure Maribel. Let's see. Like I said, I imagine it like let's say is kind of the thing. Like it's the actual artifact factory. Like Maribel can play anything. And I'll probably be having to use that Dragon card.
Right. Which, in case anybody missed it, Yuki went and got the thing that allows them to like resummon what we assume is Malim's, sibling dragon. So
yeah, he either managed to like retrieve the corpse of it, so that it can resummon it, or he just got a different dragon. Either way, he got something from the dragon's nest, and know that at some point or another, there's the dragon fight.
Yep. The OP kind of gives that away, and we already know Malim's backstory and origin, so, I mean, kind of putting 2 and 2 together, obviously. So, anyway. But, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, beyond have you watching, as always, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us here in the dojo for more Anime Night in the Dojo. This was Slime, Season 4, Episode 6. So, have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.